Hey guys, welcome to Nest Live Thursdays. Now it's been, I think we missed last week because Bal's actually, you were on holiday, weren't you, Bao? You were in Thailand.
I was in Thailand. Actually, last week I was in Tokyo.
Tokyo.
But
And before that, it was just me alone.
it was just you alone.
But we're back together now, the dynamic duo here to answer your questions.
Yeah.
And talk to you a little about marketing. Now, this week it's back to school, obviously. All the kids going back. Everyone was late to work this morning because nobody's used to the roads being busy again.
So busy, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys are sort of incredibly busy at the moment and sort of feeling the pinch. But we're going to talk a little bit about marketing to parents.
Yes.
And Val, you've been doing a lot of research on this.
Yeah, it's a very important. Obviously, back to school. I think looking at like a lot of our clients, looking at a lot of martial arts schools and how they advertise, they're very very focused on the students or the kids. And something that we need to kind of turn around is how do we market to the parents, and are we marketing to the parents effectively, because they make the purchasing decision, they make the decision whether their kids go or not. So whilst it's great to kind of showcase why martial arts is great for children and focus the messaging around children, it's also really important to say, right, how do we what are the pain points for parents? Because yes, like martial arts is great for children and it gives them that sense of entertainment or confidence and improves the child's well-being. But what about the parents? What are their pain points? And what the top 4 pain points that we found, through a survey that was done by Marketing Week, was parents look for 4 things, and one of them being price. So price was the top. Out of all the things that they look for, price was being right at the top. They want something that obviously they can afford and kind of fits in with their budget. So being a parent, you can know that, I'm not a parent, so I don't know how it is for you, but if I was a parent, price would play a massive part in making a decision whether I should send my kids to martial arts or send my kids to something else. And obviously at this time, back to school, everyone's fighting for that chance to get people to sign kids up.
Band.
Exactly.
I think price is maybe the wrong term. It's value, isn't it? Because
yes.
I mean, price is one thing, but the difference between £20 and £40, obviously it's double the amount of money. But what am I getting from that?
Yes.
And we're not sort of saying that price is such a pain point that you should try and undercut your competitors.
Yes.
But you've got to justify your price.
You've got to justify your price, exactly. So price is not because price is one of the top things that they look for. It's not saying, I'll be the cheapest in the market. That if you're the cheapest in the market, you're almost seen as not as valuable, and that's it. So it's kind of focusing on your value and how can you give the parent as much value for the price.
Yeah.
So that's really important.
And we've had so many debates about where you should mention the price, whether it should be completely transparent on your website, whether you should mention it in your marketing, or whether you should wait until you actually made contact with the parent before mentioning the price. Yeah. And jury's still out on that one. It works different for different people, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I think that is an individual business owner's decision of like where they see it fit in. And I think whilst like my view on it is to be transparent and have the price there, because it increases the return on investment. Because for example, if I go on your website and it says this is how much it's going to cost, I can make an instant decision whether that's going to fit in within my budget for the service that you're offering. But then again, from a different perspective, if a parent approaches you, you can then adjust the price or give them more of a bespoke service, right?
Exactly.
Price. So it does.
You can put
ways.
price to start from, and then your lowest price point, which might only be training once a week or once a fortnight, and then let's say once you pass your first belt, you have to train once a week, and then the price increases. So there's a few ways to sort of soften the blow of that price, isn't there? But price is
so price was right at the top end, and like Joe said, it's about the value and how are you communicating the value of your club and your service. So making sure that if you have a certain price point, can you justify that with the services that you're offering? Whilst you might just be teaching martial arts, but what about the other tangible things that associated with the service that you're offering? So that's important.
What's next on the list, Mal?
The next on the list was convenience. Parents are time sensitive.
Yeah,
they don't have time. Is what I found through all the research that I was doing. Time sensitive just kept on coming up. They just said parents don't have time to make decisions, and they're very difficult to reach. So communicating to them that your service is very convenient. Does it have parking? What time does it run from? What time does it run till? Does it ever run overtime? And how do you stick to the time that you've said? Because they're on a schedule. Majority of these parents, especially with young children, it's there's so many things that need to tick off their list.
Yeah, definitely. When I'm walking through doing Google ads with people and we're looking at the call out extensions, you always put sort of, the headline is obviously the name of your business, and then the description is the benefits, and then the headline extensions. I always say, if you've got parking, put ample parking,
Yes,
or disabled access or something like that, because that that does make a big difference to me, and that could be the tipping point between thinking, oh, I'm not sure about this service, and then, oh no, it's it's right on the way back from work. There's great parking. It's easy for me to get to.
Exactly.
Those things really make a difference.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you're close to a school, and you even mention that it's only 5 minutes from XYZ school, or it's only 5 minutes from an attraction point within your area, that's quite important, because then it gives people a kind of view on, okay, so there's space there and there's free parking. Basically what you want to try and do is look at the user journey and answer as many questions beforehand that they may ask. How far is it? How long will it take me to get there? Do they have parking? And if you can answer all those questions in your marketing messaging, then it's perfect.
It's a qualified lead by the time they get to. They've already made the decision by the time
exactly,
they talk to
yeah.
you, so.
And these are things that sometimes we consciously do know about them, but we subconsciously we don't actually add those into our marketing messages, which then could have a return on investment. So then next is safety. Safety was the third thing that parents look for. They want to know the insides of your insights of your facility.
Yeah. I think it's probably more important in martial arts than a lot of the other, because of the perception of martial arts for the layman in the wider world is it kicking and punching? Is it full contact? How physical is it?
Yeah.
So you've got to say this is a safe, fun environment.
Exactly.
And that's why maybe mentioning the DBS checks, and if you've got the safeguarding code, putting that on your website.
Yes.
Those are important things to have.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of creating content around that, looking at your facilities, showcasing that we have clean facilities, we have clean toilets, we have clean changing rooms. We also, as you said, is it safe for my child to do martial arts, and all the licensing, and also being as transparent as possible will only be, it's best practice, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So safety being the third, and last, fourth was entertainment. Parents do want their kids to learn something and develop their mind and develop mentally and physically, but they want them to have fun. They want them to enjoy what they're doing, because then they can justify spending X amount, which comes back to the value in the price. So entertainment was something that they said you had to try and showcase through your marketing messaging. So that was quite important.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of clubs do that anyway. Right now, they do always kind of focus on the fun element and the entertainment element. Obviously, the serious element of like self-defense, but how can you incorporate a good time?
Yeah, kids want to leave buzzing, don't they? There's this meme that I know that a lot of you guys post that goes around the Facebook groups every now and again, that kids quit martial arts because of the conversation in the car ride on the way home.
Yeah.
So I think ending the lesson on a high point, ending on something fun, is really important, and that's going to be their takeaway, and that's what they're going to remember. That's the last thing the parents are going to see. That's what they're going to tell their their peers at school, and that's sort of going to circulate around.
Yeah.
So it has to be affordable or good value.
Yes.
Convenient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So good value, convenience, safety,
safe, and fun.
Okay. Yeah. Those are the 4 points. Those are the things that if you can get those across in your marketing messaging, then you're doing quite well.
Yeah.
So
I think those are the sort of points that you need to make when you're posting in local Facebook groups as well. I mean, you can't put, we have a massive car park and we are all DBS check. You don't want all that in the copy of your site, but you want to make, like you say, transparency, have it on your website, mention it in Facebook groups.
Exactly.
And just make sure that those points are not difficult to find.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to advertising, a lot of times clients will say, well, I want to put an offer out there, and what do I have to talk about? What's the copy? Is it engaging? How do I create engaging copy? And I think one of the things that this really helps with is covering those points. If you can cover those 4 points and you can focus on price and value, convenience, safety, and entertainment, then anything else that you add will just be a bonus. Mm-hmm. So that's something that you can look at. And I think looking at it, 75% household spending is controlled by mothers, which is really interesting. You know, the women make the decision whether the child does something or not, which is really interesting. So it you know, focusing again on your marketing messaging and your advertising around women predominantly, you know, would get you a return on investment. It's something about, you know, trying. I think advertising is a lot of trial and error. You know, there isn't I wish we could just say, right, do this and you'll get these results and you'll get multiple, you'll get this return on investment. But it is kind of trial and error, kind of figuring out, right, I will target women this month and I'll see what return on investment I get, and then I'll skew it a little bit this way and skew it a little bit that way. So trying different variables till you actually find that, right, this is what works for me in this area for my club. So that's really important. And one of the things that you can do as well is having parenting open days.
Yeah.
So that's really good. You can start advertising prior to back to school, prior to September, having these open days. Because we had a question actually on Facebook, and it was about when should I start promoting my back to school offers, and I think you have to start at least start, you know, a few weeks. I'd say about 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks before the start of school, and then kind of focus on having these parent open days where you can showcase and show parents exactly what you go through. And if you don't want to do open days, you can do it through video. Video is so important, and that goes to our next question. Yeah, really smooth there. It goes to our next question, which was Facebook video versus Facebook imagery and what works better. And Facebook actually released a survey. They did a survey and they released some points on there saying that 86% of video ads have a higher reach, and 54% of people want to see videos from a brand and respond better to video rather than imagery. And from an advertising point of view, if you have more video and you advertise more video, you can then retarget certain parts of that video, and there's more options for you to do that. Whilst with images, you don't have many retargeting options.
Yeah, they have to like or comment or share for
yeah.
you to capture that data for you to use them as a custom audience and remarket to them. Yeah. A video, if you can set it so if they watch over 3 seconds is the minimum, I think,
3 seconds is the minimum.
Or 50% of the video, and then you can capture that data and hit them again.
Yeah.
And the Get Into Martial Arts campaign that we're running at the moment is exactly that two-pronged attack. There's a few videos that are quite short, that are sort of about an emotional pain point about kids spending too much time on their phones, and if they've watched over 50% of that video, then they are saturated with the call to action image ad that is just reinforcing that message, and then having a much stronger call to action to book now. So that sort of 1-2 punch works really well. Video is the best way to capture that data. Yeah,
exactly. And then like focusing again on advertising. You know, when do you advertise to parents? And that was the key point, because if you set your ads to run from Monday to Friday from 9 to like all around the clock, you're probably losing money, probably wasting a lot of money from your ad spend. So focusing on the times that they listed was, you know, Thursdays to Sunday, and from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock at night, that's probably the best time to advertise to parents, because then they've gone to work, they've done what they need to do, they've put the kids to sleep, and now they've got time for themselves to kind of scroll through Facebook, scroll through Instagram, or whatever it may be. And that's where then you could probably find effectiveness in your advertising spend. So that's something that you guys can try and see if that works. And if it does work for you, like, let us know, and get in touch with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There are ways. I know on Facebook it's binary, isn't it? You can say advertise at 3 and then turn it off at 4, but you can't say weight it higher at 3, can you? Yeah. But if you're running any Google ads, you can go into your information and say bid 20% higher between 8 and 12, and then your ads are going to be more likely to appear at the top of Google during those times, but they will still appear at other times when interest is there. Yeah. So you can sort of weight that a little bit, and you can weight women higher than men if you know that women are the decision makers for making these purchases, so that you can say men are still seeing these ads if they're doing a search, but we are more interested in targeting women, so weight the bidding to target women more than men.
Yes. And then, you know, looking at the why do parents make purchases they do? And it boils down to one or more of the following 3 reasons. They want to save time, they want to save money, and they want to do something a bit more effectively or efficiently. So focusing on thinking, right, okay, if they want to save time, how can I incorporate that into my brand, into my messaging, because I think a lot of clubs kind of focus a lot on the martial arts and the core service, but these are the side things that you need to look at. These are the other things that you need to focus on, like, does your brand save time, does it save money, and does it make their life easier? Because that's the problem. They're trying to make their life easier, and how does your brand or your offer do that? So that's something to think about. And finally, one of the things that they said works really well, and we kind of talk about this a lot, is testimonials.
Yeah.
And we have as many testimonials as possible. That is just like golden content for any brand. Anyone providing a service, if you can have someone to influence the next person to come into your club, it's really important. So
because obviously you as the owner of the business, you want to get people in.
Exactly.
But having that testimonial from someone that is in your shoes,
Yes.
they're a parent, they're about your age, they're living in your area.
Yeah.
I think it works for him, it'll work for me.
Yeah, and they were saying, why that's so important is because parents don't have time to do the research. So for example, if they want to get a kid involved into martial arts or something else, they don't have time to research and say, oh, is this a good martial arts club to go to? Do they provide this service? Do they provide that? They just want to hear it from someone that they trust, and that's always friends, family, or someone else that's consuming the service, or someone else that's made that purchasing decision. So if another parent can say, I love this club, it's amazing, my children enjoy it so much, and the instructors, whatever it may be, that again is just like, right, that's fine, here's my money, I want to get my kid involved as well. So so as well as like having testimonials from children and they're enjoying themselves, that's really important. But as an addition, getting as many parent testimonials is very, very important.
And again, try and get it on video rather than text, if possible.
If possible, yeah. If you can get it on video, that's just amazing. Yeah. So,
I've read something where it was like a picture's worth 1,000 words, but a video is worth like 1,000,000,000 words. Someone was saying how powerful video is and how much information you can get.
Yeah.
And the points that Bal was talking about earlier, the 4 main things that influence people, you can't put all that on a text ad. It will be, a wall of text, but you can describe your service a bit more on a video ad.
Yes, and that's it, and that's what we wanted to talk about today. So that's covered majority of the points on how you can market to parents, and I hope that's been helpful. I mean, have we got any questions? I think we've got one question that's...
Should parents and children ever train martial arts together? I was talking to someone quite recently, actually, who said that they have this thing where the student would come, the student and parents would be training in the same class, and it would be really great, especially for dads that maybe don't have that interaction with their kids enough, and they'll be training in the same class together. And what he would advise the parent to do is that pretend to forget some of the basic moves, so the kid can teach the parent outside of the class and say, oh, I've forgotten how we do that kick, how do we do that? And then the parent would teach the kid, because number one, that's a great bonding thing.
Yes.
That sort of reinforces that bond and that sort of family element. A lot of our martial arts schools say that the family feel of it is great.
Yeah. And
also the best way to learn is to teach.
Yes.
Which is why we are such experts, because we are constantly teaching and sort of imparting our knowledge onto you guys. So I think, absolutely, training together can be really, really powerful, and it can enforce that family.
And that was part of the research. One of the things that kept on coming up was having parent and children programs. Because that then you can advertise that, and that will be of interest to the parents. Because it's like. During a busy schedule, especially when people are back to school, it's like picking the kids up, dropping the kids off, then going to work and then prepping meals and whatever it may be. If you can get an hour of that day to just spend some quality time with your child, that's something that appeals to parents. And it was actually a survey done by Mumsnet, which is one of the largest forums for mothers, and it was like trying to get people involved in fitness and though they're spending quality time, for the parents it's about personally looking at their fitness journey and saying, right, well, I'm kind of, if I can't go to the gym, I can at least do martial arts with my child, or and we can both be fit together. So that was really interesting.
That's solving the convenience issue. If you do a family discount, that's hitting on the price issue. There's a lot of wins to that.
There's a lot of wins to that. Yeah. So that was everything that we covered. So is there another question? I think there's another question.
Family classes, and they work really well. Parents and children love to train together. There you go. Thanks, Carl. That's a great comment. So there you go. It does work. It does work.
Yeah.
I've got 2 more points to make on advertising to children, to parents. This is a bit of a tip. So there's a section on Facebook which is a little bit hidden called Audience Insights, and I'll put a link in the description of this video to it, where you can filter by town. And you can say people who are married or people that have just had children. You can do all kinds of things. So you can filter by your location and then filter by parents of school-age children. Mm-hmm. And then you can see what groups and what things they like. Mm-hmm. So this is really useful if you're trying to post in some other community groups or sort of other local groups. You can find the ones that are popular in your area, and then you can contact the admin of that group and ask them to share one of your posts, or if it's an open group, you can just post in there. Yeah. But for reasons we've discussed in previous videos, it's best if you can get the admin to post your advert or your video. Yeah. So what a great thing to do would be to create a video where you are talking about the benefits of your martial art. Now, I think the way to do this is more of a soft sell. So the first half of the video should be identifying a pain point for the parent. So I've been working on a few video scripts recently that mention individual growth versus competition, a safe outlet for excess energy, or what the reasons why kids need attainable goals and why the belt ranking system is really good for kids to sort of get that win and to have that goal in mind. So if you are not in a gi, you're sort of dressed in regular clothes and you're talking to the camera and saying, kids need attainable goals. These are the reasons why. You start talking ABC, these are the reasons why. The second half of the video you say, and this is why martial arts helps solve that problem. And then you can contact admins of the groups that you found are popular for parents in your area and ask them to share that video, because it is addressing a pain point. It's an interesting video. The first half of the video hooks parents who have never thought about martial arts before in. They're interested, they're watching that. And then you can remarket to them once they've hit that video and be more overt with the martial arts messaging and imagery and the stronger call to action. So that works really, really well. That's a great sort of soft in. And the awareness stage of that isn't a paid promotion. You're just posting in forums,
which is
groups,
really important. And I know a lot of clubs do kind of focus on groups and forums, which is really, really important. But it's also like, how often are you posting in those groups? Are you posting it every week? Are you posting 3 or 4 times a week? I always say that there's so much, we're overly stimulated on Facebook and Instagram, with messages, so sometimes you'll post something and people won't really sink into someone that, there's a martial arts school with this offer and this is what they do. You have to keep going and going and going. And that's why advertising does help. But if you don't have an advertising budget to continuously advertise across the month or for a couple of months, then
focus on the groups, right?
Just focus on the groups and just post organically and just post a couple of times a week.
Be active in those groups as well. Don't just come in and start selling your service and then leave and never do anything.
Yes.
These are popular groups in your area. Answer people's questions, use any knowledge that you have. Be a known person in that community, and then the posts that you do make that are a bit more salesy will be much more.
Yes.
People will receive them much better. You don't want to seem like you're really out for yourself. You want to be part of that community.
You want to communicate. You want to communicate in the community, and you want to kind of talk to the people. And everyone has issues, and parents have their own, problems that they want solving, and it might not be martial arts related, but martial arts might be part of that learning process or solution process. So if in these parent groups, if a parent is talking about, I don't know, sleeping patterns, or they could be talking about, my kid has excess energy and I don't know how to, then you can kind of go in and talk about martial arts and how it helps. And you're just giving them a solution rather than saying, this is my service, this is my offer, and this is when you can join and you get a free trial lesson and a free gi or whatever it may be. But you're kind of helping them out a little bit so they can see the value again that you bring. So
they don't want to feel, consumers don't want to feel that they understand you. They want to feel that they are understood by you. So you need to sort of foster that relationship. And even like Bal's example about sleeping problems. If you have kids and your kids had sleeping problems, don't even mention martial arts. Say, oh, my kids had that, they grew out of it. It was a horrible 6 months, but it did pass eventually. And that kind of, you just being active on that group will make people more receptive to the messages later. So anything else for parents, Val?
I think we've covered a lot of things. So I think that's everything.
I've got one more point to make, which is sort of a more general best practice. And you might have seen that we had a video on the Nest community group about this recently. We've had a new trigger for the automation system added recently, which is appointment booked, and that trigger it's much more powerful than some of the other triggers that we've got, and we're quite excited about it, because you can say, okay, an appointment booked, 2 days later, send this email, pretty standard.
Yeah.
But you can also say appointment booked, and then say, did they attend? And then split that off into 2 automations. So appointment booked, did they attend? And the most powerful point is if they don't attend, if you're using the attendance system and logging people that come, those that did not attend, you can set an automated email to send to them and say, you missed your free trial lesson. Be really soft and casual with the language and say, I understand life gets in the way. A lot of people are embarrassed about missing the lesson. Don't worry, just give me a call or click here to rebook, and sort of try and get them back in, because that is such a hot lead. They have expressed an interest. They've made the booking, and to just let them go.
Yeah.
A lot of people just let these people go and think, well, they didn't show up, they're not interested.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. But if you don't want to manually be phoning people that don't come on, set the automation trigger up.
Yeah.
And you can also say, if they did attend, you can send them, or did you enjoy the lesson? Here's a link to the sign-up page on our website, or would you like to discuss any more? Or if you have 2 lessons, some people do 2 free trial lessons, you can send them an automation about that. Or you can also just send them a general booked a lesson, 2 days later, here's some information about the class.
Yeah.
This is quite a powerful automation. You can do quite a few things with those. So have a look on the Nest community group. If you scroll down a little bit, there'll be the video that sort of introduces that concept, and will link you to the relevant bit of MyMay where you can set up the automation and just have a go with the emails, set something up. It is really, really powerful.
Yeah, brilliant. So I don't think we've got any more questions, and we're so open, and we want to kind of, again, every live that we do, we want to kind of engage with you guys to see, what kind of value would you like us to see. And one of the things that we want is maybe even contacting certain instructors if you kind of want to come and have a live
if you've
session,
got some wisdom to impart, come down.
Yeah, you
sit
could
on one of these.
You could sit on one of
orange
these
and black
chairs, and it'd be really interesting to kind of see your point of view on the martial arts industry and the sales process and the marketing process that you go through, and what's worked for you and what hasn't worked for you, because we are a martial arts community, and we want to kind of share knowledge, not only from our point of view but from yours. So so if you do want to get involved and you want to sit on this lovely orange chair with Joe, with myself, or with someone else in the office, then let us know, and we can make that happen. These lives are going to happen every 2 weeks, so hopefully this helped you kind of think about your marketing message and your brand and how you can really market to parents. And if there's
good luck for September, guys. I hope everyone's really I think it's been a slower start, but we're really starting to see some momentum, and lots of people are getting all their bookings in now. Facebook, Google, everything's a little bit more difficult than it was last September. So you've got to box a bit clever and keep the pressure up. But good luck to everyone out there.
Just keep consistent, keep getting those messages out there. And so if there's anything else that you guys need, comment below and we can get back to you later on.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I will see you in 2 weeks, guys. Thanks a lot.
See you later.